Have you ever splurged on a massive tomahawk steak, only ended up with an overcooked mess or a weak crust? Trust me, I've been there. But don't stress, I've got a foolproof method to nail it every single time. And I'm going to walk you through it. The best prep, the right cooking technique, and a game changing finishing touch. Stick with me, and you'll be cooking up tomahawks like a pro in no time. Now, it all starts with choosing the right cut. Look for good marbling. Fat equals flavor, more marbling equals a juicier steak. So go for a thick cut, at least 2 inches for even cooking. And check out that fat cap. A nice even layer is good, but too thick and it's going to be chewy. Next, we'll move on to seasoning. And I always start with a dry brine, so sprinkle on a generous amount of salt all over the steak. And let it sit at least 2 hours, or overnight in the fridge is even better. This is going to draw out the moisture, which then gets reabsorbed, packing flavor deep inside the steak. Once your steak is done dry brining, then you're going to be able to add some additional seasoning. You could add some additional salt, you could add some pepper, and you could add some garlic powder. Those three are usually the ones I go with. Once you've done the dry brining and the seasoning step, the next step is just letting your steak chill out at room temperature for about 30 minutes before cooking. This helps it cook evenly. You're not going to get any cold centers or overcooked edges here. So let's move on to the reverse searing stage. What you're going to do is set up your grill for indirect heat or use an oven at 225 degrees to 250 degrees Fahrenheit. If you're using a grill, place the steak on the cool side, not directly over the flame. In the oven, use a wire rack for even heat circulation. And what you really want to do is have a target temperature before you even start your searing process. For me, I want my steak to be medium rare. So I'm going to aim for an internal temperature of 110 to 115 degrees Fahrenheit before I start my searing process. And it might look like it's a little underdone, but that's perfect for the next step. And why does reverse searing work so well? Well, slow cooking breaks down the fat and the muscle fibers without burning the outside. You're able to avoid that dreaded gray band, and you get the edge-to-edge medium rare perfection. And when it comes to reverse searing, you do have a couple different options. A cast iron skillet is best for an even crust, or you can use the hot grill grease. So you can get those classic grill marks and smoky flavor, and you can also even use a kitchen torch if you really want to go all out. All three work very well, and use what you have. What you really want to do is sear each side for 45 to 60 seconds until you get that deep golden brown crust. Don't flip it too soon. Let it develop that crust before moving it. And here's an important thing that most people overlook. You gotta let the steak rest for about 5 to 10 minutes before searing it. While rest, crank up your grill or your pan to blazing hot. This helps the juices settle so that the sear locks them in instead of pushing them out. Now it's time to add a flavor boost with the garlic or butter. And I like to keep it simple, so I melt a couple of tablespoons of butter, add some smashed garlic cloves, some rosemary, some thyme, and if I'm really being lazy or want a shortcut, I use a pre-made seasoning like Dano's, or you can use your favorite barbecue rub. Then while the steak is resting, I spoon the butter gently over the steak. I don't just dump it. This soaks into all the little nooks and crannies of that crispy crust. And then after I do the butter basting, I let it rest even more. So I'll let the steak rest for about another 5 to 10 minutes. This keeps the juices inside and not on your cutting board. And when it comes time to slice it, I cut against the grain for tenderness. The muscle fibers run in one direction, so I cut across them for that melt in your mouth bite. Do you want help with your cooking times and temperatures? I've got a free barbecue guide. All you got to do is drop 100 in the comments and I'll send it right over to you. Now that you've mastered the tomahawk, let's take your steak game to the next level. In my next video, I'll show you how to grill the juiciest ribeye ever. Click right here and check it out.